September 16th. I have been digging deep as of late. The last few weeks, and especially the last couple weeks while I've been under the weather. I thought I would take a break from Passio, and I got turned on to Michael Tsarion and his series Oracles and Origins, and quite frankly it's not gotten any lighter, it's just gotten deeper as he's putting forth a very convincing not just argument but case, I guess, for our true origins of mankind. And it is, I thought I had shaken free all my paradigms already, and this is some pretty heavy stuff. It's kind of got me depressed, to be honest with you. But in all of this digging, it helps to clarify what I feel is like a true potentiality of mankind. Strange. It lies in the polarity, and by that I mean this uncovering and this digging is revealing great depths of truth that are very dark regarding our reality and what's really transpired or likely transpired and what's really at play here and now today. But the juxtaposition within that polarity of how good that good life can be. And I don't want my words to get minced here, but if you could take just the theoretical side of communism, and by that I really mean the communal aspect, the community aspect, that is what is on offer for us. The key, and where it has always gone so wrong, is that it has been attempted to be enacted or enforced by other people, by a governing body, which by definition it can't be. The only way this utopia works is through an elevated state of consciousness of all people, or at least all involved, or the vast majority, and through education they work to elevate the consciousness of those around them. And in an ideal state, this is really happening, where the elders are the most elevated, and it's the youth that requires the tutorials regarding bringing their consciousness higher. Because for this system to work, all these decisions of sharing have to be done of each individual's own volition, without coercion, without force. They have to do it because they want to. And I truly believe that that's possible, and it's only by studying how freaking twisted the evil is that controls our daily lives do you come to an understanding of what the default existence, what our human nature, if you want to call it, begins as. It's so distorted. Imagine a parallel world where the notion of greed did not exist. It fundamentally was a concept, while understood, in theory or on paper, did not exist in any sort of the way in reality there. Okay? It's that kind of world that we're describing here. And we've been led to believe not only is greed, through this distortion of social Darwinism, a necessity, but we have placed it on an altar as a virtue. Okay, that is what would have to completely disappear in order for this I use the word utopia, but that has the wrong connotation, because I feel like utopia describes an idealistic potentiality that could never really happen. Where, in point of fact, I believe that it absolutely could, as we collectively manifest our own reality. So I would like to bring it back down to home. I'm not saying it's likely, given where we're at, our current prognosis, but that it absolutely could happen. So how do you get people to want to share amongst themselves? You know, if money was not a construct, if money didn't exist, because that's just another trap, where we just lived in the abundance that we needed and we wanted, and greed was not a virtue by which we judged our progress. You know, if you could pull someone out of this world and place them somewhere else and really ask them at their core what it is that they wanted, where they weren't making that decision or giving answers based on their perception of what other people wanted or based on what other people had. If they were able to elevate their consciousness to the point where they could recognize where consciousness was deriving happiness as opposed to the ego, then what you would get are responses where, from a material standpoint, enough would have been enough a long time ago. Fuck the Joneses, you know. And I don't want to say I'm proof of that because I'm a special case. I can only use myself as an example, the one I understand the best, because it's me, and because I'm going through this process of understanding, I'm able to comment on it. And I you know, for the longest time didn't really have a couple dollars to my name. In the last couple of years, I have personally saved some money. I haven't even spent it. I'm waiting to put it into the property, so I don't really have an attachment to the money at all. But I'm coming to this deeper understanding of what drives the true self, the higher self, self with a capital S, right? The non-egoic self. That's life, liberty, and property, or the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what it is we want. But we're told that's not what we want. We're told we want things. And that's why we continue to exist and fight amongst ourselves in this material world. Anyway, this was just a quick aside, because as I'm listening to Tsarion describe the potentials of our origins with non-human entity interference in our DNA and genomic structure, the thought crosses your mind that we, the current human race, that we are the AI, and how the pot's just been stirred and it's so murky, the reality that we live in. Most people think that it's the way it has to be because it's the way that it has been, but that doesn't mean it's always been that way. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, maybe with a glimmer of hope. I'll certainly come back to that other idea later, but yeah, something for you to chew on.